Welcome back for another video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let's jump right into it. In this video, we're just going to go and backtest the previous week of July 7th through July 11th, and I'll just kind of talk through my strategy and give you these quick points of what we're using to base these moves off of. So the quick moves will be just based off a 15-minute liquidity sweep during the New York session, looking for the AMD model, so accumulation, manipulation, and distribution model in the 1 minute time frame, and then just targeting opposite side swing point for our take profits. And that's pretty much it. So let's just go into the moves. If I already have them marked up, I'm just going to go over my reasoning, and we'll just play out these steps and see what occurred during the week. So looking on Monday, we had here some buy-side sweep liquidity right here before New York session opened, but we didn't really get a move because it's not in session, so I didn't take anything or look for anything there. Then we see the swing point here for sell-side liquidity. That gets swept, so in theory we need to look for buys at this point, so we can go back and replay it here and see what occurred. So we saw sell-side sweep of liquidity there. See this buy form, this accumulation, manipulation here, and distributed to the upside. That's a loss at this point, so just marked up as a loss. And we can pause it. We see more liquidity forming. So we see this liquidity here was the one that was swept. This swing point here, it's really micro minor. It's really fast actually how this happened. So right here's this buy-side sweep liquidity was swept here. It's kind of just going with the trend and the flow and all this momentum. So it's swept there, and it formed a really quick move. We see this accumulation model here, slight manipulation above it, distributes to the downside, leaves some imbalance here. Enter right at this imbalance, and you can just target this 15-minute swing low here, and it would have won for 2.76%. You're risking 1%, and that's pretty much it for Monday. So just moving on to the next day at Tuesday. So this is a profitable day there. Then on Tuesday, similar concepts. Looking at it, we have a really slight buy-side sweep liquidity here. It's a little hard to see on this broker, but it did form a little better on a few other brokers. So at this point, we're looking for a sell. You see the AMD model here, formed a little different on the other broker shape, but this accumulation in these 2 or 3 candles. Manipulates to the upside, distributes to the downside. It is a little ugly with this wick, but it's still valid. Have some imbalance in these candles right here. You enter, set your stop loss above this distribution. You can target this 15-minute swing low here, and you got 4% right there. And that's the first one of the day. Let's go back to the 15-minute time frame and see. And after that, we have this sell side of sweep liquidity here. So once it sweeps to the downside, looking for buys at this point. And you see that it gave another AMD model here, this accumulation in this range, distributes to the downside or manipulates to the downside, then distributes to the upside. And gave us a buy opportunity there, but it ended up being a valid loss. So just take 1% from this trade, slept 3% for the day, and then you get another sweep liquidity here. You see in the 15-minute time frame that a swing low here, but it pushed down and swept that liquidity there, and then it formed this next buy, which was here. Kind of just went up and then formed this AMD model here. Accumulates in this range, manipulates to the downside, distributes to the upside, and leaves some imbalance between these candles here. Entering at the imbalance, and then set your target at the 15-minute swing high, which was, I would say probably this swing high or this one, probably this one, because it's the first one that formed. And yes, this swing high, and it hit 2.73%, so it's over like 5.73% on the day, so that's a solid day, if you're assuming you're risking 1%. So that's Tuesday, so then we're going to go on to the next day for Wednesday. And then here we see a little bit of liquidity before session. Then you get a huge push up, so we're looking definitely to have a swing or a sell as this buy-side liquidity is suddenly push all this down and fill in all these gaps. So then at the top we get a little bit of structure here, but it didn't really form an AMD model because it's not a swing low here, so kind of rejected a little bit, then formed the AMD model. So you get accumulation of these 4 or so candles, manipulates to the upside, breaking or manipulating this swing high, and then distributes to the downside, leaving this imbalance, and you enter the imbalance, and then you're able to set your take profit based on the 15-minute swing point, which is here. And you can see this is the swing low, the next swing low. So target that, ends up being hit. That's 10% right there, assuming you're risking 1%. Then once this is swept, this sell side liquidity is swept from the 15-minute. Next, we're looking for buys off of this. And then you'll see you get another AMD model here. This accumulation, manipulate to the downside, distribute to the upside. Enter in at this imbalance here that broke this, so this is off a little bit. You'd want to enter in up here because this is the imbalance that broke this AMD or the accumulation zone, and that ended up being a valid loss, but then it's okay. So sleeps more liquidity here in the 15-minute. We'll see. So for another swing low here, swept this liquidity, and then rejects off and forms with another AMD model. See this accumulation here in these candles, manipulates to the downside, distributes to the upside. And we see it goes up a little bit, then it comes back down, tags in with this imbalance here. And you target the next 15-minute swing point, which is still back up here. And it ends up playing through.